Hello everyone, Doc7 is here, and this is the storyline of the Bubble Boy film. This film tells the story of a man named Jimmy Livingston, who from birth has to live in a special room that is tightly closed because he has a weak immune system. When he was 4 years old, his mother decided to take him home and look after him at home. They lived in a big house specially designed for Jimmy. Her bedroom is a large plastic balloon with giant gloves so that her mother and Jimmy can do activities. The whole house is also equipped with plastic pipes so Jimmy can roam freely. Jimmy is a very overprotective mother and doesn't allow him to hang out with other children because he is considered to carry harmful bacteria. When he was 16 years old, Jimmy accidentally saw Chloe, a beautiful girl who had just moved next door to his house. Since then, Jimmy has been diligent in cleaning his bedroom window only to see Chloe from a distance. One time Chloe was curious and entered Jimmy's house quietly, saw Chloe in front of him. Jimmy became embarrassed and unfocused. Unfortunately, their meeting that day was very short because Jimmy's mother suddenly came to see it. Of course, her mother was angry and forbade her to see Chloe again, because she was considered not a good woman. But the next day, Lloyd secretly came back to Jimmy's house, and since at that time their relationship was getting closer. One night Chloe walked into Jimmy's room drunk. It was his birthday, and he intended to celebrate with Jimmy. Chloe said that he wanted a kiss from Jimmy to give. But what power! They both separated by a plastic balloon. That moment was Jimmy's special moment. For the first time she felt the joy of falling in love. But Jimmy was afraid to express his heart because he didn't know what to do. He felt jealous when he found out that Chloe was dating a schoolmate named Mark. Jimmy could only see them from his bedroom window. In his heart, he was not willing and said, if only he was not trapped in this plastic balloon, maybe he was Chloe's girlfriend. Until one day Chloe came back to see Jimmy. But this time, he brought sudden news that made Jimmy's heart break apart. She said that in a few days she would marry Mark, whose reception would take place in Niagara Falls. Hearing the bad news, Jimmy then kicked Chloe out and told him not to see him again. Before leaving, Chloe left a gift box for Jimmy. And the next day after it was opened, it turned out that it contained a glass ball with a miniature of the two of them in it that said, "I love you." Jimmy regrets that he kicked Chloe yesterday, and he is even more sorry for not expressing his true heart to the girl he loves. Finally, with unanimous determination and intentions, Jimmy plans to go see Chloe, but he only has 3 days left before Chloe gets married. He succeeded in designing a portable plastic ball that can be used to travel out. For the first time in his life, Jimmy can walk his way out even though he has to be in a balloon. He runs as fast as he can and enjoys what it feels like to fall up and down on the asphalt road. At first he wanted to take the bus, but because the ticket price was expensive and he only brought coins, Jimmy could not help but continue his journey on foot. But because he did not pay attention to the way, Jimmy was finally hit by a bus, and luckily the air balloon saved him. A group of young people got off the bus to turn Jimmy off. It was okay. Then he asked if he could ride on the bus all the way to Niagara Falls. The boys happily took Jimmy inside. On the bus they all sang cheerfully, and Jimmy did not have the slightest suspicion. Then the young men got acquainted with their Jimmy. The story was that they were on their way to a gathering in the middle of the wilderness. They were a group of young men who deliberately left their belongings and chose to explore immortality and studied from a man named Gil. hearing the story innocently if they say that they are a group of followers of a heretical sect because they are hurt to hear Jimmy's words. The young men as quickly as possible throw him off the bus and leave him in the middle of the desert. Meanwhile, mother and father, after finding out that their favorite child had disappeared, they both decided to look for Jimmy themselves and had time to stop by the bus booth near their house. The counter clerk said that Jimmy was taken by a group of young people and they were headed for the highway towards Las Vegas. After several hours of traveling, Jimmy accidentally ran into a gang member named Slim, whose motorcycle tire leaked in the middle of the road. Jimmy offered his help to patch the tire. He happened to have the tools he needed. Slim may have a scary look, but actually he is also a kind-hearted person. He heard Jimmy's remarks that a few moments ago he was just left with a group of young men in the middle of the desert. Slim asks Jimmy where his intention is to go and what for. Jimmy then tells him honestly if he intends to meet his idol who wants to marry someone else. After hearing Jimmy Slim's story, then he remembered his past. He then showed a tattoo on his stomach that said Wildfire, which was a girl's nickname. Her idol turned out to have had a similar fate with Jimmy, a girl whom he thought had left him to marry someone else. In another place, the youth group and the message have a meeting in the middle of the wilderness. Their leader Guild shows an ancient stone carving. Ben says if the savior is trapped in a ball, they must find him and free him from the ball, otherwise the world will end. Automatically, a group of young men panicked because a few moments ago they had met the figure Gil was referring to. Meanwhile, Slim and Jimmy became good friends. They both finally got together and headed for Niagara Falls as soon as possible. When passing through Las Vegas, Slim then planning to take a gamble in order to win money for gasoline costs because there is business, then leaving Jimmy for a while. It seems that luck is in Jimmy's hands. With only one last coin of hers, he can win the door prize at the casino, which is a scooter-engined. Because Jimmy decided to leave the slime and get on the scooter to his destination, Slim panicked and tried to find Jimmy on the streets. He saw a bus that had a group of young people in it. Immediately he remembered Jimmy's story a few moments ago and recognized the young children. Slim is angry with them because they have the heart to leave Slim in the middle of the desert. Instead of apologizing, they deliberately run over their favorite Slim motorbike to shreds. On the way, Jimmy was accidentally hit by a car, which caused him to bounce into a train carriage and then fell unconscious. The next day after waking up, he was shocked, not playing because there was a group of strange people nearby. It turned out that the train was a circus train owned by a dwarf man named Dr. Free, who then bullied Jimmy to the point Jimmy was annoyed, then threw Dr. Frigg until he was knocked unconscious, and he then advised a group of strange humans to go as far as possible from Dr. Frigg from living freely. Shortly afterward, Jimmy entered a restaurant intending to hitch a ride, but he had to be confronted with a group of residents who were bullying an Indian man named Push Pop who was eating at the restaurant. Jimmy shouted and told the people not to bully the man. Cyrith then arrives and he is shocked because he thinks this Jimmy is a patient who has escaped from quarantine. Finally, everyone in the restaurant panics. The chaos makes the restaurant accidentally burn badly. Luckily, the Indian man who was defended by Jimmy had come to rescue him before the restaurant exploded. To repay Jimmy's kindness, he gladly agreed to take him to Niagara Falls. Because he fell asleep while driving, Push Pop accidentally hit a cow. He then became sad because in his religion cows are sacred animals and killing cows is a big sin for them. Seeing Push Pop, who is discouraged Jimmy, so you don't have the heart and don't want to burden Push Pop any more than decide to continue on foot. Meanwhile, Jimmy's father and mother accidentally meet the doctor. The three of them agree to work together to find Jimmy. Slim now has a new motorbike and he is not alone. His friends are also involved in searching for the cult that destroyed his motorbike last night. On the way he met Push Pop, who was pensive looking at a cow's carcass. Slim then stopped intending to buy ice cream, but Push Pop surrendered and told him and his gang to take as much ice cream as he wanted. When again the ice cream language of a heretical group bus passes them and deliberately runs over all the motorbikes belonging to Slim and his friends. Meanwhile, Jimmy has arrived at a nearby town. He intends to rent a taxi, but the cost is very expensive and he has no money. Jimmy then entered a wrestling contest inside a bar and easily won the match. After leaving, he was confronted by a cult group who then took him to a narrow alley. They intend to unload Jimmy's plastic ball, but a group of strange humans see it and then come to save Jimmy. Slim and his friends riding in a Push Pop ice cream truck. They had a chance to meet Jimmy, a group of strange people in a cult group, for a moment. Then immediately there was a fight with the three groups. Jimmy took this opportunity to quickly get away by hiring a taxi driven by an old man named Poppy. The next morning, Poppy is unconscious and his car has an incident that makes Jimmy have to bounce out. Jimmy doesn't just give up. He then gets on a plane that will take off and Slim accidentally crashes into Jimmy's mother's car. It turns out that they both know Wildfire, Slim's ideal woman, is Jimmy's mother. Jimmy's plane was damaged and he accidentally fell in the middle of the river, but with strong determination he made it to Chloe's wedding reception. He then came closer and opened the plastic ball and said that he was willing to get out of the plastic balloon and die just to kiss Chloe. In fact, I fell in love with Jimmy since the first time they met. After kissing Chloe, his mother became hysterical and cried beside him, but suddenly woke up again and he didn't feel anything after getting out of the plastic balloon. Her mother then told her honestly that all this time she was lying. She purposely locked Jimmy in the house because this world is very cruel and she doesn't want anything to happen to her beloved child. Seeing the hard struggle that Jimmy went through, Chloe chose to marry him. At the reception, he met people who had been coloring his adventure to meet Chloe. Heretical sects are now changing sex and choosing to follow the Push Pop religion. Dr. Freak is now a good boss for weirdos, while Slim is now good friends with Jimmy's father and mother. So many Stock 7 videos this time. Don't forget to subscribe and like the videos so you don't miss the latest updates from Chanel. See you in the next video.